Oh, hello everybody. Um, yeah, um, you all welcome, brother Bafu Bonnie. How are you, my brother? Um, yeah, we're back today to talk about our beloved continent once again, Africa. What we can do and what we should do to contribute for the betterment of our beloved continent. So I'm really not gonna spend much time with you guys, and then we're just gonna share ideas, and then what we can do as citizens of our beloved continent. Yeah, greetings to you, my brother, Bafu Bonnie. Yeah, so today we're talking about Africa and the leadership of Africa, or the citizens of Africa. Let me just say it that way: the citizens of Africa. Our contribution to what we call, or what we normally say, calling our leaders as puppets, sellout, and all the names that we always give to them. I am not here. I am not here as a Pan-Africanist. I am not here to defend the leadership of Africa. They have really failed us after the struggle for independence. Most of our leaders, or majority, if I should say, of our leaders have failed us as citizens. But what I notice is we as citizens, we have also contributed a lot to to our situation, or our current situation, predicaments as African people globally. And what am I saying that? I was watching this video about the president of Ghana when he met the president of France when he first came to office in 2017. And the man was determined. I mean, the president of Ghana, Akufo-Addo. He spoke really well in the presence of the French president. He told him that we Africans, we are not ready for the hangout from donor countries, which simply means Africa was ready to do things for herself, what others are doing for themselves. And after that, what we realize is, after the speech, the president of Ghana became famous for that speech, with the speech he gave. And after that, the man has been quiet. The man is not doing nothing again. He's not saying anything again. So my question is, why is he being quiet? How come all of a sudden he's not saying what he was saying when he first took office? Does it mean that after the speech, he was given a warning, or what? So my point is, all that I'm trying to say is, it looks like most of the times, we the citizens of Africa, we normally betray our leaders who stood for us, or who are ready to fight for Africa. So for that reason, most of our leaders become puppets. They rather obey the powers that put them in office than to obey the citizens, or to work for the citizens that will end up betraying them. And why am I saying that? So my question is, if it were to be you, what will you do? That is my question. If it were to be you, what will you do? If you are a citizen of Nigeria, and then you have the opportunity to save the people. If you are a citizen of Cameroon, if you are a citizen of Burkina Faso, if you are a citizen of any country in Africa, and then you have the opportunity to save, and then you get into office, and they present to you two options. One option is you're going to work in favor of the establishment, the corporations that has been looting Africa for how long, we don't know. Or you're going to save your people. You're going to work for your people who, at the end of the day, will end up betraying you. If the two options are presented to you, what will you do? I'm asking that question because if we look into history, almost every African leader that ever stood for Africa is end up being betrayed by the same citizen that he stood up for. A typical example is Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Patrice Lumumba of Cote d'Ivoire, Patrice Lumumba of Congo. We have recently Laurent Gbagbo of Cote d'Ivoire, and the famous one is Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso. All these people were ready to work and to uplift their people, their nations. But what we realize is, at the end of the day, and not even forgotten recently, Muammar al-Gaddafi. He stood for his people. He stood for the entire continent of Africa. But what did we see? When the Western powers came for them, Africa never stood for them. Africa betrayed them. So if I have the opportunity to be a president, and I look into history, anytime an African leader stood for Africa, he ended up being killed. And anytime he stood for his people, when the Western world came for him, we always give them out, sell them out to them. So I think it's about time we start, as citizens of Africa, we start to protect those leaders who are standing for our interests. As I said, I am not here to defend any African leader, but what I'm saying is that sometimes if you watch, some of these our leaders, they are ready and they are willing to work for their people, but the reality is that they don't have the power. And the sad part of it is, anytime the Western world, the superpowers, came for them, look at Laurent Gbagbo. He's in prison right now, purposely because he stood for Ivory Coast. He stood for his people. He was captured, France invaded the country, took him out, and put their puppet there. So if it were to be you, what will you do? Will you stand for your people and end up in international court and sent to prison, or you will listen to the powers? So I think for Africa to move forward, we as citizens of the continent, we have to be bold to make sure that we will stand for those leaders who care for our continent. Recently, I watched a speech by Paul Kagame of Rwanda, and then he was telling his young people in his country, he was telling them as to what he's doing, the works he's doing, they may come for him. And the question is, who will come for him? And he said, if they come for me, they may kill me. He said they may kill me. They may kill him. Why would they kill him? Because he's ready to work for his people. But the sad thing is, the people are not ready to stand with him in difficult times, just like Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi stood for his people. Gaddafi was ready to uplift not only his people, not only Libya, but the entire continent of Africa. But what did we see? When they came for him, Africa sold him out. That is very sad thing about we African people. we always sell the best, our best leaders, those who are ready to save the continent, those who are ready to sacrifice and to make sure that Africa get her rightful place in the community of nations. We always sell them out and then leave the puppies, those who are not ready to work for our people. So my question is, if it were to be you, what will you do? If you have the opportunity to become president or leader of Africa, and you watch historically, what Africa has been doing to our leaders who were ready to work for our people, what will you do? Will you save the interests of the West, or you will work for your people who will end up selling you and sending you to prison? Which one will you do? So that's my question. My question is, if it were to be you, what will you do? And I think it's about time Africa will stop honoring betrayers. Because the reality is, and the sad thing is, we always honor those who are ready to betray Africa. Yeah, my brother, it's true. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Because if you watch what Paul Kagame was saying, today, if you watch in Africa, it is only Paul Kagame and then the president of Tanzania who are vocal and speaking and ready to work for their people. But the sad thing is, it is not only them who want to work for their people. As I said, even the president of Nigeria would have wished to work for his people. But the sad thing is, they are just human beings like me and you, and they are also scared of their lives. And anytime, history will tell us that anytime an African leader stood for his people, the citizens will end up handing him to his enemies. And that is our problem. We always honor those who are not ready or who are puppies, and then always disguise those who are ready to work for the continent of Africa. So I think it's about time we, the citizens of Africa, began to realize or began to honor those who are ready to work for the interests of our mother continent. Because in reality, we have everything to be superpower in this world. We have everything to be superpowers on this planet Earth. But the sad thing is, we are not using what we have to our own advantage or to our own benefit. Nigeria alone, as they said, Nigeria alone has more educated people that can take care of the needs of African intellectually. Nigeria alone. But yet, even they themselves, they are having problem looking after the country of their country. Why is it so? Whatever we have as a people, our brains, our knowledge our resources doesn't benefit us. It goes a long way to benefit other people, and yet we sit down and we complain, we crying, we mourning over issues, whilst we sit down and let other people come and take our resources for their own benefit. I keep saying it. When are we gonna, as the new generation of Africans, organize ourselves and be ready to take the mantle of leadership and then make sure that we put Africa at its rightful place? We have everything, don't we? We have everything. So how come we are not achieving, how come we have everything and yet our people are still starving? Congo alone can provide the entire continent of Africa water to drink, clean water to drink, and yet Congo doesn't have water. Congo alone can provide the entire continent of Africa clean water to drink, and yet Congolese themselves are starving. They don't have water to drink. They don't have food to eat. Why is it so? Why can't we use what we have for our own benefit? It's about time we start doing that. It's about time we start working together, because it's so shameful that individual Africans, young individual Africans, cannot come together and work for the benefit of Africa. We're so divided. We're so divided. For some reason, you don't know. Chinese are coming over to Africa. And you know what? The sad thing is, there's this intercontinental trade agreement that African Union has passed, I think, last year, and it's gonna take effect this very year. It was supposed to take effect in July this year, and other people are getting ready to go take advantage of this African intercontinental trade, free trade. But yet, young Africans are not, like, we are not even thinking of that. So we're gonna sit down and then we allow Chinese to get ready and then troop in to take advantage of this. And then we, who are the citizens of that continent, will be out somewhere mourning and crying as to how people are treating us. People are treating us like that because we give them the chance to treat us like that. So as I said, it's about time we African people, we stop selling our best to their enemies. And what I mean our best leaders who are ready to sacrifice and then who are ready to work for the continent. We have to be giving them maximum support and protection. And I tell you, if we do that, others will follow. But as long as we continue to sell out our leaders, those people like the way we did to Kwame Nkrumah, like the way we did to Patrice Lumumba, like the way we did to Thomas Sankara, like the way we sell out Muammar Gaddafi just recently to the West, and also Laurent Gbagbo, he's still in prison. Like the way we sell all these people, if we continue to be selling our leaders like that, then we will continue to have puppet leaders, because no leader will want to stand with people or will want to save people who will not stand with him when his enemies come for them. You see, when the president of America is sworn into office, he will swear an oath to serve the interests of America. And I am telling you, when he is in danger, the American Constitution will protect him. Just like in Britain, just like in any part of the advanced world. But in Africa, any leader that stood for his people, they always end up being betrayed by their own people. They will always sell them out. So if it were to be me, if it were to be you, what will you do? Will you save the people who will end up selling you out to your enemies, or you will rather save the interests of the West? Are you getting my point? So all that I'm trying to say is, yes, we have puppet leaders. We have leaders who are serving the interests of the West. It's true. But the question is, if they don't do it and they decide to save the interests of their own people, anytime a leader stood for his people in Africa, they end up betraying him. They end up selling him out. And then he'll end up in jail, or he'll be killed. And they're also human beings just like me and you. They also love to live. So what will they do? They will save the interests of those who will give them protection. Because we, as citizens of Africa, I remember when Gaddafi was killed, there were women in Ghana jubilating and then happy. Why? Because they don't even know what he was standing for. What he stood for, they didn't know. So the only thing they could do is be happy, because the media tell them that he's not good. He has stayed in power for 40 years or for whatever years. Just yesterday or just this week, Russia is amending the constitution of their country to make sure that Putin continue to stay in power for another 16 years. It is not always about democracy. We don't eat democracy. I am not saying democracy is not good. It could be good for some people. But it is not about changing every 4 years, but it is about what the leadership can provide you. Like today, the way they are trying to use democracy as a reason to make Paul Kagame look like he is a bad person, even though he's providing for his people what the so-called democratic leaders are not providing for their people. Even though Paul Kagame is providing for his people what the so-called democratic leaders are not providing for their people, and yet still they're trying to use that as a reason to make him look like he's a dictator. Is there any country on this planet Earth that does not rule by dictatorship? No country on this planet Earth that is not ruled by dictatorship. Americans, they are lying to you. There is an invisible government that is ruling the country. Everywhere in the world. It is only in Africa we accept everything that we don't even know what it means, just because it has been brought to us by our so-called colonial masters. When are we going to stop calling other people masters? When are we going to start to be masters of our own? So my question is, if it were to be you, what will you do? If we have been selling out our best, selling out our leaders who are ready to save the nation, the African continent, if we continue to be selling them out, do you think it worth it to sacrifice for Africa? Look at what they did to Gaddafi. Do you think it's worth it? Look at what they did to Kwame Nkrumah. Do you think it's worth it? Thomas Sankara, do you think it's worth it? Not only them, even outside of Africa, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, all these people, it was people who looked like them, who betrayed them, that led to their death. So do you think it's worth it to be a leader of Africa or an African nation? It doesn't worth it, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, if a leader is supposed to save the interests of his people, that's what makes you a leader. And the people will stand behind you in difficult times. But in the case of Africa, it's not like that. Leaders who come to take our resources and give to other people, we hail them. That is our problem. Leaders who come into office and continue to follow their colonial masters, we hail them. We give them the chance. But leaders who said, you know what, it's about time we end all this and also use the resources of Africa for the benefit of our people, we always give them out. So does it worth it? If it were to be you, what will you do? I think it's about time the best brains of Africa, the resources of Africa, it's about time we use it for the benefit of our continent. It's as simple as that. We cannot have everything on this planet Earth and be walking all over the world going through what we're going through. We have everything, but all over the world, you see black people in Kenya, in Malaysia, you see black people in India suffering. You see black people in these Arab nations. Is it not so sad that we have everything and all that we do, we go around the world complaining and then waiting for the savior, waiting for somebody to come and feel sympathy or pity for us? It is never going to happen. If we're going to achieve something, it's going to come from us. If we're going to achieve economic freedom as African people, it's going to come from nobody but us. It's going to come from nobody but us. So it's about time we start to realize that. And then stop blaming those who are even at home. Because we who are in the diaspora, we also have a duty for the economic freedom of Africa. We in the diaspora, according to what they said, there are more Ghanaians, doctors in America than there are in Ghana. So imagine if all these doctors were to be, if they were enable environment for them to be in Africa or in Ghana to work. And yet, they're out there, just like me and you, using their strength, their knowledge for the benefit of other people. And yet, after we maybe we get old, we retired, we go back home, and then we expect our system to be working. The system will never work. The system will only work if me and you take a conscious decision to say, you know what, enough is enough. We want to go also and help build our continent. Africa has the potential. Africa is still a virgin continent. With all the looting and everything, Africa is still a virgin continent. There are still lots and lots of opportunities out there. But, as I said, the free trade that African Union just passed, the intercontinental free trade that African Union passed, which will take effect on July next month. Other people are waiting for that to take that opportunity. But we, who are the children of Africa, we don't even know about it. We don't even know about it. But Chinese know about it, and Chinese are waiting to troop to Africa to take advantage of this. Because this simply means that there will not be borders preventing you from trading from one country to another. And yet, we are somewhere complaining, whilst even Europeans, Chinese, Indians are waiting to take advantage of that argument. Whilst we are somewhere, we cannot organize ourselves because there's too much distrust. We don't trust each other. And there's not that link between us as African people. You cannot see a Congolese, or you cannot see somebody from South Africa and somebody from Ghana come together, a young man from South Africa and a young man from Ghana come together and then build business. Because there's no trust. Even in our own country, you cannot see two Ghanaians come together, young Ghanaians come together and build a business. Why? It's about time we start to rethink and then put aside all this kind of mistrust that we have for each other, and then start building together. Because together, we can make Africa great. Africa deserves more than she's getting now. Me and you know that. And we can only have that freedom, economic freedom, if we, the youth or the new generation of Africans, take that decision that we really want to see change, or we really want to bring change and make Africa great. But until we stop betraying our leaders who are ready to work for the continent, we will never have good leadership. And without good leadership, there is no way they can be changed. Because no matter what, as I said, the president of Ghana, when he first became president in 2017, the vigor, like the passion to do something, all diminished. Look at the way and manner he speak to the French president. He told him, point blank, Africa don't need aid from you anymore. It's about time we stop taking aid from you. Because at the end of the day, if you are even taking more from us and claim to be giving us aid. He said it, point blank. But after that, what happened? I'm sure they gave him warning. They told him, you know what, you just took the office. Be careful what you say to your masters. If not, we'll come for you. And then he will sit back and realize that, you know what, it's true. Because when Kwame Nkrumah was working for the interests of Africa and for the interests of Ghana, when they came for him, the CIA and then Kotoka, they came together and take him out. Not only him, Patrice Lumumba. That was the same thing. He was ready to work for the interests of Congo and for the interests of Africa. What did they do? They took him out. Same thing, as I said, The most painful part of it is just recently, Muammar Gaddafi. Look at what they did to him. He was ready to work for the interests of Africa. He was talking about Africa uniting. He was talking about Africa establishing our own military bases all over Africa to tackle all the conflicts going on in Africa, which could have been better for us. And what did we see? When they came for him, we just betrayed him. We let him down. Africa let him down. So until Africa stop honoring those people who are puppets and then start honoring those who are ready to sacrifice or to stand for their people, no way we're going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. We cannot continue to betray our leaders who are ready to work for us and think that, and then expect to have good leaders. It's not possible. That is why we always have puppets. It's only in Africa you see somebody who betrayed a nation and still have his family walking free. Nowhere in the world that you see that. Nowhere in the world. If you betrayed a nation, especially in these communist countries, China, if you betrayed a nation, you're gone. But in Africa, we have a lot of puppies. People who are ready to sell out their countries, who are ready to sell out the continent, but they have the freedom walking around. It's about time we start to put penalty on those people who are selling out our good leaders. As I said, Paul Kagame was complaining, and then you could feel he's scared for his life. Why? Because he's doing great job for his people and for the continent of Africa. And then because of that, he said, they may come for me. Why should we allow them to come for him? Why? Why should we always sit down and allow people to come for our best? So people determine who should be our leaders. Why should we shouldn't allow people to determine who should lead us. They always come for our best, and then we always give them out. That is not the best thing to do. It's about time we start to honor and then make sure that those who are ready to sacrifice for Africa get themselves into the rightful positions. And the puppies, we have to shame them. The puppies have to be shamed. Until we do that, we're never going to have good leadership. As I said, if a president of any Western nation swear an oath, take an oath as a leader, the nation is always ready to protect him. But for the case of Africa, you don't know. How on earth you're going to tell me that country like African leaders are always been threatening to be dragged to the International Criminal Court, whilst other countries are not even signatory to that. People who are always in war, countries that are always in war, they are not signatory to the International Criminal Court. But African countries who are not, we don't even attack each other. Can you tell me when was the last time an African country invade another African country? We don't even do that. But almost all of us are signatory to International Criminal Court. And they use that as a form of blackmail. A little thing that you do, they will use that against you and then send you to prison, just like they did to Laurent Gbagbo of Cote d'Ivoire, and then put Alassane Ouattara. Alassane Ouattara come and he start. Alassane Ouattara come and he start working for the interests of France. Look at recently what he did when this ECOWAS currency issue came out. He boldly came out and then stood against it and then went for France. Why? Because he knows he can get protection from France. He knows he can get protection from France. But if he knew he could have gotten protection from his own people, I'm sure he would stood for his people. It's about time Africa will start giving protections to the leaders who are ready to sacrifice for the continent, and then start shaming those puppets. making sure that we don't give them the opportunity. Because in Africa, we hail them. We hail them. We hail those puppies. And then we rather give out our best, sell out the good ones to their enemies. It's about time we make a stop to that. So as I said, I didn't really come to talk that much. I just came to bring out this point. As to the question is, if it were to be you, what will you do? If you were to be the president of any country in Africa, and then you are presented with two opportunities. One is work for your people and then end up in the international community, or work for us so that we give you protection. Which one will you do? Because history will tell you that anytime an African leader stands for his people, the people end up giving him out to his enemies. And it's about time we stop all that. Wake up together, let us come together, and let us start protecting those leaders who are ready to stand for the interest of Africa. That is the only way we can have more good leaders coming out. But if we continue to give people like, sorry to say, but leaders like Paul Kagame, leaders like, if we continue to give out leaders like Paul Kagame to their enemies, and then give shelter or protection to Paul Biya of Cameroon, then we are in serious danger. It's about time we start giving protection to those leaders who are ready to fight for the interests of Africa. So, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for coming around. May God bless everybody. And then let us together work and make sure that the resources, the human resources of Africa goes a long way to benefit the people of Africa, rather than benefiting Chinese and Indians and Europeans, whilst Africans continue to suffer. Africa deserves more. And God has given us everything to live a better life. It is up to us to use our brain, just like other people are using their brains. I always said it, riches is not about resources. If riches was to be resources, Africa would have been the richest continent in the world. But riches is about using the brain, using your brain. Those who, the countries, the nations we call richest countries in the world, they don't even have the resources we have, but they use their brain. It's about time we start using our brain. If we use our brain, then our resources will benefit us. But if you continue to sit down and be expecting somebody else to come do it for us, nobody is not going to do it for Africa. Nobody is not going to do it for us. We're going to do it by ourselves. No European, no American, no Chinese can solve the problem of Africa. We can do it, and we must be ready to do it. We've been sitting down expecting them to do it, waiting for them to do it for us. If they have the intention to do it, they could have solved our problems for us for long. But the reality is, they even have more problems more than we do. The people we think we're sitting down expecting them to come help us, they have problems more than we do. The Europeans have problems more than Africans. The Americans, the same thing. If they stop taking from Africa, they will collapse. We never take from nobody, and we're still standing. If the Europeans and the Americans stop taking from Africa, they will collapse. So they need us more than we think. But we always run to them for them to be fooling us. It's about time we stop running to other people and stand up as men and women of a great continent, and then use our brain for the benefit of our people. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate your time with me. May God, may the ancestors bless everybody. Thank you. See you guys later or next time.